Some people are remembered because they held great power. Some are remembered because they achieved great wealth. But some people are remembered because of the values they stood for. Mahatma Gandhi was one such person. Born as Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi in 1869, he began his life as an ordinary young man. He studied law, traveled to South Africa, experienced discrimination, and gradually developed a new way of confronting injustice. When he returned to India, he traveled among ordinary people and listened to their problems. From the farmers of Champaran to the millions who joined India's freedom struggle, Gandhi gradually became one of the most influential leaders of the 20th century. His great weapons were not guns or armies. They were truth, non-violence, and satyagraha. But who was Gandhi before he became the Mahatma? What experience shaped his ideas? How did he become a leader? And what can we learn from his life today? To explore this question, let's begin our conversation.
Hello everyone and welcome to our podcast. Today we are going to explore the life and legacy of one of the most important figure in India's history, Mahatma Gandhi. So let's start at the very beginning. Who was Gandhi before he became the famous leader we know today?
Well, that's actually an interesting place to start because Gandhi wasn't born as some extraordinary political leader. He was born on 2nd of October 1869 in Porbandar, Gujarat. His full name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. His father, Karamchand Gandhi, was administrator, while his mother, Putlibai, was deeply religious and had a very strong influence of him. As a child, Gandhi was quite shy and somewhat reserved.
So if we met him as a child, we probably wouldn't immediately think this boy is going to lead millions of people.
Definitely not. He was actually quite shy, and that's one of the fascinating thing about his life. The Gandhi was later addressed huge crowd was one a nervous and quiet young man.
What kind of values did he learn from his family?
He learned the importance of truth, discipline, simplicity, and compassion. His mother's religious belief also encouraged him to respect different faiths. These ideas become extremely important later in his life. For Gandhi, truth and non-violence were not just political techniques. He tried to make them part of his everyday life.
And then he went to England to study law, right?
Yes, he went to England to study law, and it was completely new environment for him. He encountered different culture and ideas and became interested in religion and philosophy. Eventually, he qualified as a lawyer and returned to India.
And I assume that once he became a lawyer, his career immediately took off.
Not at all. His early legal career wasn't particularly successful. He was still shy and lacked confidence.
It's actually surprising.
It is, and I think it's an important part of his story because it reminds us that great leaders don't necessarily begin with confidence or success. Sometimes these qualities develop through experience.
So, the Gandhi we remember was not the Gandhi who started.
Exactly. His transformation happened gradually, and one of the biggest turning point came where when he traveled to South Africa.
So, what exactly happened in South Africa that changed Gandhi's life?
Gandhi Gandhi went to South Africa as a lawyer, but while he was there, he experienced racial discrimination firsthand. That experience completely changed the direction of his life.
We're talking about the famous train incident, right?
Yes, while traveling by train, Gandhi was asked to leave a first class compartment, even though he had a valid ticket because he was Indian. He refused to accept the injustice and was eventually removed from the train.
That must have been a very humiliating experience.
It was, but what makes the incident important? It was Gandhi did afterward. He could have responded with argue, anger, and violence. Instead, he decided to challenge injustice through peaceful resistance. He began organization the Indian community and opposing discrimination laws.
And this is where the idea of satyagraha began to develop.
Exactly. Satyagraha is generally understood as holding firmly to truth. Gandhi believed that people could resist injustice without hatred or physical violence.
So basically, he was saying that refusing to cooperate with injustice could itself be a form of power.
Yes, that was one of his most important ideas. He believed that ordinary people could be powerful even without weapon.
That's quite a revolutionary idea.
It really was. And after South Africa transformed Gandhi, he had gone there mainly as a loyal. But he returned with a much larger purpose to fight injustice and to experiment with a new form of resistance.
So South Africa did just change what Gandhi did. It changed who Gandhi was.
Exactly.
So when Gandhi returned to India, did he immediately become the leader of the independence movement?
No, not immediately. And this is another important part of his leadership style. He first traveled around India and tried to understand the problem people were facing. He met ordinary people, farmer, worker, and villager. He wanted to see the situation of himself.
So instead of sitting in an office and deciding what people needed, he actually went out and listened to them.
A leader should not simply argue what people need. A leader should listen first.
And this approach became especially important in Champaran.
Absolutely, Champaran became one of the first major examples of Gandhi's leadership in India.
Let's connect this with our class 12th chapter Indigo. What exactly happening in Champaran?
The farmers of Champaran were being forced to grow indigo under an unfair system and were facing exploitation. Their situation was extremely difficult.
And how did Gandhi become involved?
A farmer, Rajkumar Shukla, repeatedly dispatched Gandhi to visit Champaran. Eventually, Gandhi agreed, and when he arrived, he didn't simply give a speech and leave. He met the farmer, he listened to their experience, he collected information, he tried to understand the problem from the people's perspective.
And that sounds simple, but it was actually quite significant.
It was because Gandhi wanted to understand the problem before deciding what action to take. And there were another important movement. The authorities ordered Gandhi to leave Champaran, but he refused.
Did he resist violently?
No, peacefully accepted the consequence of his decision. He was prepared to face punishment rather than abandon the people he had come to help.
And eventually, the authorities investigated the situation.
Yes, an officer investigation took place and reform were introduced.
So, what does Champaran teach us about Gandhi's leadership?
It shows that Gandhi believed leadership was about service, understanding, and courage. He did not simply speak for the farmer, he helped them develop confidence and stand up against injustice.
So, Indigo isn't only a story about farmer and indigo cultivation.
Exactly, it is a story about leadership, courage, self confidence, and peaceful resistance.
And perhaps that and perhaps that's why the chapter remains relevant even today.
Absolutely.
About Gandhi's childhood, South Africa and Champaran. If we had to divide his life into four broad phases, how would you do it?
It divides into four broad phases. First, early life and education, his childhood, family, studies, and early career. Second is South Africa period, when he experienced discrimination and developed satyagraha. Third, his leadership in India began with Champaran and eventually expanded into the nation freedom struggle. And fourth, his later life and legacy, when he forced strongly on communal harmony, peace, and the future of India.
So each phase brought a new Gandhi.
In a way, yes. His idea developed through experience. He kept learning, questioning, and changing throughout his life.
After Champaran, how did Gandhi go from becoming a regional leader to become a national leader?
He gradually became involved in larger nation movements. One of the most important was the non-cooperation movement. Launched in 1920, Gandhi encouraged Indians to withdraw cooperation from British institutions and reject certain British goods and systems.
Why was non-corporatism such a powerful idea?
Because it gave ordinary people a way to participate. People didn't need weapon. They didn't need military training. They could they could contribute simply by refusing to cooperate with an unjust system.
But Gandhi eventually stopped the movement, didn't he?
Yes, sure. After the Chori Chora incident, where violence occurred, Gandhi decided to suspend the movement.
That must have been a difficult decision.
It was. Some supporters was disappointed, but Gandhi believed that a movement based on non-violence could not continue it if supporters were become violent.
So for him, the method was just important as the goal.
Exactly.
Another event that almost everyone associates with Gandhi is Salt March. Why did he choose salt?
Because salt was something everyone needed, rich or poor. The British government controlled its production and imposed a tax. Gandhi understood that salt could become a powerful symbol of resistance.
And then he walked to the coast with his followers.
Yes, the Salt March of 1930 began one of the most famous acts of civil disobedience. Gandhi and his followers walked to the coast where the making of salt became an act of protest against the British salt law.
So something as ordinary as salt became a political symbol.
Exactly, that's one of the Gandhi's strengths as a political leader. He he could take something simply and connect it to a much larger idea.
So the message was basically this isn't just about salt, it's about freedom. What about the Quit India movement?
The Quit India movement began in 1942. Gandhi and other leaders demanded that the British leave India. Gandhi gave the famous call of do or die. The movement faced severe repressions of many leaders were arrested.
Was this one of Gandhi's final major movement against the British rule?
Yes, it was one of the final mass movement before India became independent in 1947.
So, by this stage, Gandhi had become a symbol of India's struggle for independence.
Yes, although India's independence was result of many people, movement and historical force. Gandhi was one of the most influential figure within that larger struggle.
Let's talk about the idea behind Gandhi's action. What did Satya mean to him?
Satya means truth. Gandhi believed truth should guide our thought, word, and action.
What about ahimsa?
Ahimsa means non-violence. Gandhi believed that we could oppose injustice without hatred or physical violence.
Some people might hear non-violence and think it means weakness.
Gandhi believed the opposite. He saw non-violence as a form of courage. He requires self-control, patience, and determination.
So, not fighting back physically doesn't mean doing nothing.
Exactly, and that's where Satyagraha comes in. Satyagraha combines a commitment to truth with peaceful resistance. The idea isn't to remain silent when something is wrong. It to actively resist injustice while refusing to become violent ourselves.
That's a very difficult way of thinking about resistance.
Yes, and it is one of the main reasons Gandhi's idea influenced movement outside India as well.
Gandhi's simple clothing and the spinning wheel are also strongly associated with him. Why were these so important?
Gandhi promoted Swadeshi, which encouraged people to support local products. He encouraged Indians to use khadi and spin their own clothes.
So, was it really just about clothing?
No, it was also about self reliance. Gandhi wanted people to feel that they could contribute to India's independence through everyday choice.
So, even something as ordinary as the clothes you wore could become part of the freedom struggle.
Exactly. And this simple lifestyle also helped him connect with ordinary Indians.
We have talked a lot about Gandhi's achievement, but was Gandhi a perfect leader?
No, I think it's important to study a historical figure critically. Gandhi achieved a great deals, especially by bringing ordinary people into the freedom struggle. But some of the political decide and social view have also been criticized and debated.
What's one example?
The supervision of the non-cooperation movement after Chori Chora disappointed some supporters. There have also been debate about Gandhi's view on caste, gender, religion, and some of his political decisions.
So we can respect his contribution without pretending that he never made mistakes.
Exactly. Studying history isn't about turning people into perfect heroes or complete villains. It's about understanding their achievement, their limitation, and he connect in which they lived.
That's probably a much healthier way to study history.
I agree.
We often see Gandhi as a national hero, but what was Gandhi like as a person.
Like anyone else, Gandhi had personal struggles. For example, his relationship with his eldest son, Harilal Gandhi, was complicated. His dedication to public services also created difficulties in his family life.
That's interesting because we usually see the public Gandhi, not the private Gandhi.
Exactly. It's easy to turn a historical figure into a symbol and forget that they were also human beings. Gandhi had strength and weakness. He experienced success and failure.
And understanding it probably makes his story more realistic.
Yes, we don't have to believe someone was perfect in order to learn from their life.
Gandhi's influence didn't stop with India, did it?
Not at all. His philosophy influenced people around the world. One of the best known examples in Martin Luther King Jr., who was strongly influenced by Gandhi's approach to nonviolence resistance during the American Civil Rights Movement. Gandhi's idea also influenced wider discussion about peaceful resistance, justice, and social change.
So Gandhi's legacy became much bigger than India's independence.
Exactly, his ideas became part of a global discussion about how ordinary people can change injustice peacefully.
Now let's begin Gandhi into the present. Are his ideas still relevant today?
Definitely, we still face problems like violence, inequality, discrimination, and social conflict. Gandhi emphasized on his peaceful dialogue, truth, tolerance, and response living can be still useful.
What about social media? If Gandhi were alive today, how do you think he would use it?
That's an interesting question. I think he would recognize the enormous power of social media to reach millions of people. But I also think he would be concerned about misinformation, hatred, or intolerance.
So the technology has changed, but the responsibility hasn't.
Exactly. Whether we were we were speaking to some person or million of people online, our words still have consequence.
And perhaps that's where Gandhi emphasizes in truth became especially relevant.
Absolutely.
After studying Gandhi's life, what's the biggest lesson you personally take from it?
For me, the idea that leadership doesn't necessarily require power. Gandhi showed that one person can influence millions through convention, discipline, and courage.
For me, it's the idea that we can disagree with someone without becoming hateful toward them.
Yes, and I think that's especially important today. We didn't have to agree with everyone, but we can still treat people with dignity.
So perhaps Gandhi's most important lesson isn't simply about politics, it's also about how we behave as human beings.
Exactly.
Gandhi's life was not a straight path toward greatness. It was a journey shaped by experience, failures, questions, and choices.
I
From a
regard
shy young
myself
man in
as a
poor
soldier,
Bengal
though
to
a
a lawyer
soldier of
in
peace.
South Africa to a leader standing beside India's farmers and finally to one of the most recognized figures of the freedom struggle. Gandhi's journey was one of the constant transformation. His method were debate, his discretion were question, and like every historical figure, he had limitations, yet his commitment to the truth and non-violence left a lasting impact. Perhaps the greatest lesson from Gandhi's life is not simply to remember what he did. It is to think